What up, folks? Grace Preach, aka Black Calvinist here, aka that dude with the websites. Doing a quick response video. My cousin Derrick, up in Canada. Love you, bro. It was good meeting up with you. You and Quan put out a very informative video there with a very informative topic. And at the end of that topic, you guys had a question. What will it take for black men to step up? What will it take for black men to step up? The entire video, for those just joining the conversation, was about the lack of male role models in the black community. And I encourage you, if you haven't watched the video, it's down here in around here somewhere where I'm pointing in the comments section or immediately underneath of the video and saying, this is a response to. Please click on that video, go watch it, then come back to this one. That's cool. Cousins. A little tweak to your problem here. Number one, it's not just a black male community thing, even though I know that was your focus. It's a male problem. It's a masculinity problem across the entire societal layer of existence. In the U.S., the fatherlessness rate is currently 40%. 40% of boys, girls, everybody born across the entire society right now are born to single parent households where it's primarily the mother. In the African American community, that number is approaching somewhere around 65 to 70%. So it's not just a black problem, it is a society-wide problem. What are the root causes? Because see, we got to look at the root causes of this in order to really examine what the solutions are possibly going to be. You know, people like to link things back to slavery and everything, but white folk weren't no slaves. Well, most of them weren't. Most white folks weren't no slaves, so they're not dealing with the effects of slavery destroying the society and the family structure and having it repeat over and over again. There's something else. I blame a few things. Number one, there's a war on masculinity, like I said. It's being conducted systematically in 3 different areas. Number one, take a look at 7 out of 10 commercials online right now, or coming on TV right now, where there is a male and a female in a hilarious situation. I can guarantee you the male is always going to be the butt of the joke in 7 out of 10 of those times. What this does is systematically program everyone to think, oh, it's okay to make fun of men. Men are not leaders. Men are funny. And it hasn't just been going on now. We can go back to the 50s and the 60s and look at the old Dagwood Bumstead movies. Dagwood Bumstead, and I mean, his name tells you he's a bumbling idiot off the top. Bumstead? Bumstead? The theme song. Blondie's not always right. I let her think she is. All of his thoughts are bright, long as he thinks they're his. Wow. Just blatant disrespect from the get-go. So it's not something new. And this stuff grew into and came out of, eventually, the feminism movement of the 50s, 60s, into the early 70s. And this stuff was pounded into our heads while we were growing up. Boys and girls are exactly the same. Boys and girls are exactly the same. No, they're not. Boys and girls are not exactly the same. Girls can do anything boys can do. No, they can't have a child by themselves. Yes, they can. No, they can't. They need a male. Even if they go to a sperm bank, still need a male to fill up the sperm bank. And as we've learned from just basic scientific studies over time, Time magazine, I think it was late 80s as well as late 90s, they had a couple of different, in 2005 I think, they had a couple of different articles that ran that showed that men and women are different. They're not exactly the same. But the feminist movement has pounded this into our heads, so women have been encouraged to act like men. They've been encouraged to be the aggressors, the initiators, everything that men are supposed to be, they've encouraged to be. And when men try to step up and do that, we've been called chauvinistic. We've been beat out, crushed, pushed back into the back, way back, whatever you want to call it, um, and not encouraged to step up and lead as we're supposed to. Problem number one, and that's been passed on to the kids who have grown up through the 70s and the 80s and become adults, who then have passed that on to their kids, who have then passed it on to their kids. Which is why you're seeing teenagers now who are having kids and they have not a clue in the world about how to be a father to those kids, because they didn't really have a father around who knew what it was to be a man. Then you got problem number two. Problem number two is a little bit more systemic, a little bit harder to deal with, and it won't make me any friends. But you have the homosexual movement gradually trying to erode any possible differentiation between male and female, as if gender is just a man-made construct that we foist upon each other. Why can't we choose what we want to be? Well, your biology is a part of your gender, whether you'd like to acknowledge it or not. And again, science has shown men's brains and women's brains are wired differently. Men's physiology and women's physiology are wired differently. We're not the same. It does matter. But there's been a systematic attack on manhood and womanhood and on gender identity, so that people are now confused. There's a couple right now that did the wackiest thing. They said they're not telling anyone what the sex of their child is. They're going to let their child decide what they want to be when they grow up. Reality check. If you sit down to urinate, you're a female. If you stand up to urinate, you're a male. I don't need to get graphic because you know what I'm talking about. But these things combined are all seeking to attack what maleness is, what femininity is. Additional problems coming into the fold. We have people running around. What's the best way to say this? Most of the entertainers on TV, no matter what the genre of music it is that they're doing, as they appeal to teenagers, every last one of them has sold their soul for the dollar bill. They are presenting an image to male and female alike that completely distorts what masculinity and femininity is, and they're passing it off as entertainment. Unfortunately, the easiest way to get people to assimilate a particular teaching or a particular lifestyle is to make a song out of it. That's why the songs about women being called female dogs and males being called, and males with this jacked up version of what supposed masculinity is, which only involves womanizing, sex, drugs, murder. That's why this is getting pushed out. And yes, you can probably say, would you do this to your mother? Would you do this to your sister? Some of these guys don't have a clue as to how to properly treat their mother and their sister, because since their mother didn't grow up, or rather since their mother didn't raise them up with a husband in the house, their mother has sought to make them the man of the house, and they treat their son like the man of the house, since they don't have a man in the house. So these guys don't know. What they do is they learn how to manipulate mom. They learn how to manipulate mom real well. I'm a school teacher. I can tell you stories about parents who have come in and fallen for and believed everything. They're little angels. Oh, look at my little man. He's so cute. He's so wonderful. I can tell you stories. I can tell you stories. But now I've only addressed the problem, and it's 9 minutes and 49 seconds into this video. I guess I need to actually address, what do we need to do in order to step up? That's coming.